G'day, have I got a story for you? Check the disclaimer. Season 1, Episode 23, Hallucination. I am standing at the door watching some of the cleaning staff and tea ladies arrive in the hallway, ready for our escape. I hear a child call my name from another room, so I give the baby boy I am holding to Melinda and tell his concerned sister that I'll be back. I go to the next room. They all look ready to go. I hear my name called again, so I rush to the next room and find the tallest girl taking a baby from a woman who seems to be stuck. I hear my name called again and again. As I run down the hall, I see other women stuck through the viewing panes of each room. Why are they standing so stiff, as though they're frozen in those positions? I ask the sweet voice who speaks in my thoughts, what do I do? I hope she's listening. I hope she hears me. I hear her in my mind. Please, would you go back to your children's room and take the 2 babies from Melinda's arms? I'm already helping with the other rooms. I rush back to find Melinda, who is also stuck. I put the 2 babies she was holding together in one of the small cots and show their small sisters who are watching over them how to wheel them in the small cot, one each side. I tell all the other girls that if the time comes to leave, when I am out of the room, make sure these little ones get their brothers through first. And not to worry, I will follow. I see Melinda suddenly move. She walks slowly and sort of stiffly across the hall and sits in the chair in the other room where I found her. Melinda's daughter stands at the door, watching, with her sleeping brother cradled in her arms.
She won't be coming back with us, will she?
I see tears welling up in the girl's eyes.
She is too broken.
I nod in response, but she doesn't notice. It's easy to see when Sweet Voice is speaking to someone's thoughts. Sweet Voice lets me know that some of the women won't be able to come. And as I look, I see some others down the hallway, also walking slowly back to their rooms. Sweet Voice explains. I wasn't sure if they were okay to go, but they wanted to so much. I wondered if this might happen. It's like their minds can't cope, and their thoughts seem so far away. I think of it as gone to the moon, because the moon is a long way away, according to the scientists' thoughts. I think that using the words gone to the moon metaphorically is a much nicer way to describe it than glitch, which is what the Mangala calls it. All of the women who were in the process of going to the moon, I helped them, just like I helped you when you panicked, when you were first freed from the chair. Do you remember? You found it hard to think, then felt dizzy. Then your body suddenly slowed down and locked into position. You couldn't get your mind to think properly, and then everything went dark. I entered your mind and gathered up what I call mechanical thoughts. I brushed them away, well, sort of. That's the best way I know how to describe it. Your body suddenly trembled, and I began explaining things to you in your thoughts. I can see that you remember. I have now done this for every woman here from these chairs. Some of them, it just didn't work well enough. Their minds were just not ready to cope with all this new information. I tried my best. I'm so sorry. Sweet Voice wanted to give them every chance, but she thinks that most of them who are now back on their chairs won't survive if they come. At least here they will live. She lets me know that 2 might be able to come if they choose to at the last minute. Sweet Voice seems to think that maybe they need a greater connection with their children. Emotional connections, relationships, friendships, to survive away from here. She thinks we all do. I walk quickly down the hall and see lots of the girls gathering around the women still in the rooms with them. The girls are hugging them, smiling at them, some calling them mum, and some saying how glad they are that they are coming. I assume Sweet Voice asked the girls to help, and the women all seem so happy. 2 tea ladies are in the end room, where there are no women left with the children. Sweet Voice lets me know that she will send more people to help with that group. They are all younger children, and some girls are still babies, with no brothers yet. I see the 3 nurses arrive, each of them wheeling equipment with full bags piled on top. They leave the equipment with the maintenance people and go straight to the end room with the 2 tea ladies. I have been thinking about it. I need to get my room ready and let the girls know that there is a new way we will be exiting. I sit the youngest girl in one of the empty cots at the end, place her brother on her lap, and another small baby at the other end. They only just fit. I do this again with another very young girl. I ask the 2 tallest girls to take charge of wheeling these cots. Now for the other spare cots. I place 6 babies in 2 cots and make them the responsibility of the next 2 oldest girls. I explain to them all how we will leave, wheeling the cots through, so that I know they will all be able to escape, even if I am called away for a minute or 2. All the other girls and I begin loading the remaining cots with everything we can fit in them from the cupboards at the back of the room. The girls and I will be taking them with us if we have time, and if it is safe to do so. Suddenly I hear the scuffling of feet and rush to the next room. I see the girls and women doing what I just did in my room. I hear Sweet Voice in my thoughts. Brilliant idea. I brush tears away as I walk back to my room. I think that is the first time anyone has ever acknowledged that I did anything good. I look at the girls ready in my room and wonder if this is what happy feels like. Now we wait. Every person here is now in place. We just need to wait for our turn. Sweet Voice is coordinating with what is happening on many levels beneath. A few more staff have arrived in the hallway. I assume they are coming too. They look deep in thought. I suppose Sweet Voice is talking to them. One of the nurses who just arrived is standing outside this room. Sweet Voice lets me know. Just in case you need help. Your room is the only room with one woman. It has begun. I see a portal appear down the other end, just inside the open doorway of a room on the other side of the hall. The maintenance people immediately push all the trolleys that the staff left there ready into the portal, then enter the portal themselves. Children and women from 3 rooms step into the portal and vanish. Then the end room with the tea ladies and nurses. The lockdown alarm suddenly becomes very loud. That is the 3rd time. Does it just do that every so often, or did something else happen? 2 of the male staff seem to be waiting. Oh, 2 scientists just came around the corner running. The male staff make sure the scientists go through, then follow them. I guess they are 2 of the children's dads that Sweet Voice mentioned earlier. The door then slides closed in front of the portal, so no one else can step through yet. They should be arriving at the deserted orphanage now. The remaining maintenance people and cleaners are getting all the next lot of trolleys ready, with the other staff who also push their trolleys near the portal. The last 3 rooms, including mine, all children and women, are now going down the hall ready. The nurse who is waiting outside my room smiles at me and stands with my daughter and I at the very end. Another staff member arrives, puffed out. He was running, pushing a huge trolley with what looks like a lot of heavy tools. He smiles at us and looks delighted to see all the children. He talks to some nearby. Sweet Voice tells us that we are 5th in line, and there are many groups leaving from the levels far beneath us. Not long now. Sweet Voice continues. 4th. Now 3rd. They're exiting so quickly. 2nd. We are next. Suddenly the door slides open and the maintenance people push all the trolleys through, then go through themselves. The staff make sure all the other rooms with children go through, then help the children from my room enter. I see a woman in the room next to me crawling towards me. She's calling.
Please, don't go without me. I want to leave. Help me. Please help me.
I know from Sweet Voice that she's not sure if she will survive, but the woman would rather die than remain here. It is her choice. Sweet Voice is hopeful, saying that miracles still happen. She has witnessed miracles before. There's only my daughter hugging my son and the nurse left. My daughter refuses to go through without me. I tell the nurse to take my son and ask my daughter to come and help me. I can see that my daughter was about to protest, but looks thoughtful and changes her mind. She hands my precious little son to the nurse. Thank you, Sweet Voice. I hear Sweet Voice asking me to befriend this woman, and even though her children won't be there at the other end, because they were in the first lot that left, ask the children to be kind to her. Maybe she could be a friend to them, or maybe even a mum if they choose. The more connections she makes, the more chance of her survival. That goes for all the women from these rooms, including me. I can see that Sweet Voice wants us all to survive and live good, long lives. As my daughter and I pull her up, holding her arms over our shoulders, I smile at her and say, "Don't worry, we won't leave you behind." I hear my daughter tell her that she's always wanted to have an auntie, and asks her if she would be her auntie. The woman smiles at her and says,
Beth. Auntie Beth.
She has tears in her eyes.
I would love to be your auntie.
A tall woman comes running with a very full trolley. We step through the portal immediately after her, and a scientist who also ran straight into the portal. I don't know what all these things were on that trolley, but Sweet Voice thinks that it would be very beneficial for us to have them. We step through onto the 37th level, and I see a tall woman enter the portal in the elevator with a trolley. The scientist must have gone before her. The nurse is waiting for us, holding my baby. She hands him to me and takes Beth's arm. The nurse asks Beth if she knows anything about medicine and if she would like to learn. I don't think I've ever seen anyone look happier than Beth does right now, even though tears are falling down her cheeks onto the floor. I just realised something that I wasn't sure of before. People really can be kind. given the chance. We go to the elevator on the left, and the nurse, Beth, and my daughter step through the portal first. I look back and see the enormous bluish-tinged man who just arrived and his extremely small friend. I smile at them and say, "See you there, Alistair." He grins, and I hear,
"In a while, so keep that smile."
As I step through, hugging my beautiful baby boy, I vaguely hear Alistair's voice.
"I like it."
Take off. I make sure they clear the way for Alistair to slide out next at the other end. I like him. I like his sense of humour. I think we are going to be good friends. Even though I stepped out onto solid ground covered in beautiful green clover, I can see that the portal is precariously perched partially on the ground, with a small section on a log. I know what Sweet Voice meant about Alistair being able to dislodge the portal. He could easily move that log. I turn to see children running everywhere, and a few babies enjoying watching them from blankets on the clover. So they've already used the code words from Sweet Voice to wake them. I quietly say, "There's nowhere like home," to my precious sleeping baby in my arms. He opens his eyes and smiles up at me. I hold him close and kiss his little hands as he pats my face. It is a lovely sunny day here, and the cool breeze makes it perfect. I wonder where we are, but I suppose we will find out soon enough. We just know that we're far enough away from people that Alistair and his little friend won't be seen, and I mean without using her ability to hide them. On the left, I see some of the staff have already started clearing an area under the trees. They didn't waste any time. They've been here less than 2 minutes. There are some old fallen trees being moved by some of the men. I heard one of them say that it would be easier with Alistair's help. Children, lots of them, all happily talking and playing. This is the most beautiful sight I've ever seen. I am so relieved, so free, so happy. I don't think I've ever felt this way before. This is wonderful. But is it real? Or is it some sort of hallucination? Women who look exactly like me, although I'm the only one here. Did I dream that? Multiple children who look like they could be sisters and brothers to my own children, who I carried and gave birth to. A voice in my head who talks to everyone's head, and I call it Sweet Voice. An underground facility full of people who do awful, weird experiments on us. Portals that we step into and step out in a completely different place, anywhere on the planet. Waking up, sitting up with headphones, wire cables and shackles on me, with my bare feet on a vibrating plate. Here's a good one. A big bluish giant who can talk to people's thoughts, whose best friend is a tiny, fairy, who can make things invisible and make things appear that aren't really there, who has a tiny, fluffy, odd-looking animal with no tail. Weird. I realise there are actual scientific reasons for the way they are, but still, how can all this be real? Have the lab assistants got me in a machine that feeds me a false reality that they want me to believe? Why would they want me to believe this? The things they usually show are horrific. Oh, I remember the lab assistants and some of the awful things they did to us. There was one with beautiful silky black hair with an ID tag that had Lab Aid 43 written on it. Or is all that I'm remembering also a false reality? This all seems ridiculous, all of it. Am I dreaming? Will I wake up next to that man who continuously hurts me? Oh no, please no. I wish that was a false reality. But I remember all the bruises and the pain. I look at all the happy, relieved faces here. I hope this is all real. If this is a dream, I never want to wake up. I just want it to continue. I want so much for this to be real. But how? How could it be real? Someone, please tell me. Is it all real? Alistair slides out of the portal feet first. He is carefully holding his little friend at his chest. And I hear him say,
Yes, it is all real.